Download now.
Story in 9 days, SNAP benefits in Tennessee will become unavailable due to the government shutdown, impacting hundreds of thousands of Memphians. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller spoke with State Senator London Lamar and some Memphians about the effects this could have in the Bluff City.
I'm here at the Tennessee Department of Human Services, where many Memphians come every day to get set up with SNAP benefits. But now, many people are here asking questions about what will happen once their benefits become unavailable starting November 1st.
It goes out for the single mothers that got kids. Now, what can we do? We can't feed our kids. Let alone, if we do have jobs, again, what can we do? Because that was helping us.
Outrage and uncertainty, two things many Memphians who have depended on SNAP, like Cornisha, are feeling as the benefits are set to freeze. The Tennessee Department of Human Services confirmed this will be the case on their website if the government shutdown continues into November 1st. This means nearly 700,000 Tennesseans, roughly 152,000 living in Shelby County, will lose a food source many rely on to feed their families. And it's not just in Tennessee. Arkansas and Mississippi are also at risk of losing SNAP funding, which would leave about 240,000 in Arkansas and 385,000 Mississippians without benefits. The Mid-South Food Bank says they conducted a pulse survey of their partner agencies across all 3 states and found over half of respondents noted an increased need for food assistance over the past 3 months. And that's before any benefits have been impacted. State Senator London Lamar is calling for federal lawmakers to prioritize the people they serve over politics, so nobody has to go hungry.
What you're seeing is this Democrat-Republican fighting. The people on opposite sides of the end won't come to the table, negotiate, and put people first. That is going to kill our state, that's going to kill our country, and is most importantly going to hurt families and kids.
For now, there are still 9 days left for those in Washington to come together and reopen the government before SNAP benefits are impacted. In Memphis, Caitlin Miller, Action News 5.
With the government shutdown potentially affecting SNAP benefits, many people in the southern tier could see big changes by the end of the month. 18 News reporter Ebony Lewis met with a food bank director and a food pantry coordinator and has details of how they're preparing for the changes.
With changes to SNAP benefits coming at the end of the month, local food banks and food pantries across the southern tier are working to try to make sure people will not go without food.
We're all saddened by it. There's no need for it. We have potentially 39,000 neighbors that could lose SNAP benefits, even temporarily, is an impact. Many of these neighbors, they rely on this on a daily basis.
Our children are our future, and can you imagine children going to school not having something to eat because the SNAP benefits is and continue to provide much needed nutrition benefits for our children. And we want to make sure that when they go to school, they're not thinking about how am I going to have, am I going to have a meal when I get home?
The food bank of the southern tier has been preparing for this just in case it happened.
We've been preparing since July. We've been slowly building up our stock. Just last week, we released some emergency funds to our pantries to get them stocked up and ready for anticipation.
Food bank organizers say their preparations are a short-term solution for the changes to SNAP benefits.
This is a short-term solution. The long-term solution is the federal government needs to open back up quickly.
We have to look at the big picture. What is best for this country? And the most vulnerable members of our society are elderly, our children, are disabled. We have to think about them, and we have to come together and work for their good.
In Elmira, Ebony Lewis, 18 News.
I have to share this. My husband just tried this new 87-cent generic Viagra. Our life in the bedroom.
Tens of millions of Americans will lose access to food stamps this weekend. The looming deadline has sparked furious infighting among lawmakers as the U.S. government shutdown enters day 28. Sky News' Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen has more.
Government officials from 25 U.S. states are suing the Trump administration over the suspension of food stamps, which help feed more than 42 million Americans. The Trump administration says its hands are tied. On November 1st, this coming Saturday, the monthly allocation of federal food aid is supposed to be distributed by the Department of Agriculture. The program is called the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP for short. About 1 in 8 Americans use SNAP to buy groceries.
What President Trump is doing on the hunger issue and on the nutrition issue is immoral.
The Department of Agriculture has a $5 billion fund it could tap into, but it says it's holding onto that money for its allocated use to provide support in the case of natural disasters as the US heads into the winter storm season. The Senate again failed to pass a bill that would fund food stamps because of a lack of Democrat support. Republicans say the blame is on them.
But at the end of the day, what they are doing is holding these programs hostage so that they can move forward what most Americans would say should not be appropriate for policymaking using taxpayer dollars.
This is a congressional problem and crisis that's been created by the Democrats because they're playing partisan games, and there's nothing the president can do. We don't have anything to offer them.
Polling shows most Republican voters are blaming Democrats for the shutdown, and most Democrat voters are blaming Republicans for the shutdown. So there's not much incentive on either side to bring this to an end. This is now the second longest government shutdown in US history. But if tens of millions of Americans are denied access to SNAP, which would impact their ability to find food, that is the kind of situation where we could start to see rioting, and that would encourage lawmakers to find a solution very quickly. Annalise Nielsen, Sky News, Washington, D.C.
Well, this hour, we do want to give you a live look from Washington, D.C. The U.S. Senate failed to pass a government funding bill for the 13th time today. And amid the shutdown, SNAP benefits for millions of Americans is about to be suspended.
Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell was at a State House rally where she announced she is teaming up with 21 attorneys general to sue the federal government. So what does this all mean? NBC 10's explainer-in-chief Sue O'Connell will break it all down for us in just a moment. But let's start with NBC 10's Robert Goulston. He's live at a Copley Square farmers market where SNAP benefits are a lifeline for some people, Robert.
Exactly, Glenn. And as we all know, fruits and vegetables can be a game changer for a family's diet. Here at farmers markets like the one here in Copley Square, the vendors are always trying to connect people with those healthy resources by accepting SNAP benefits. But we are told that may be off the table by the end of the week. It's all fresh food from Kimball Farm in Pepperell.
It's nice to be able to hand it to someone directly and know that it's going to them.
And affordable for everyone because of programs like SNAP.
It just gives people access to our product that didn't have it before.
The first time ever, the federal government shutdown is expected to mean no SNAP benefits for millions of families. At a rally outside the State House, Attorney General Andrea Campbell announced a multi-state lawsuit to try to keep SNAP on the table.
We're confident based on our legal arguments that hopefully the court will side with us to ensure these benefits can continue to flow for our families.
Frida Wiley relies on SNAP because of her disability.
If I don't get my food stamps on the 4th, I'll be hitting the food pantries, and hopefully the food pantries will be able to compensate for what I need.
Agencies like Road to Responsibility out of Marshfield are also planning for the pinch.
We start losing the funding on November 1st.
President and CEO Chris White says SNAP helps supplement the state's roughly $9 a day for food benefits that about 1,300 of his clients living with intellectual and developmental disabilities rely on.
I could not manage to feed anyone in my family for just $9 a day. And so SNAP benefits are used to fill that gap.
And the Attorney General says the gist of her lawsuit is that the executive branch can't stop these SNAP benefits. Only Congress can. So she wants a judge to step in and keep the benefits flowing. We're live tonight in Boston. Robert Goulston, NBC 10 Boston.
Okay, Robert, thank you. Let's talk more about this with our explainer-in-chief, Sue O'Connell.
So we want to clarify this up front. What exactly is SNAP, and is it the same as food stamps, and who benefits from it?
That's a great question. Okay, SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's the official name for food stamps. It's basically a debit card the government loads with money each month so family can use it to buy groceries. Now, about 42 million Americans use it. Now, that's roughly 1 in 8 people. And it's a way bigger tent than most people think. About 40% are kids, over 16 million children. Another 20% are seniors living on Social Security. And you've got 1.2 million veterans, and this is always shocking to people, 22,000 active duty military families use SNAP, and around 1.5 million college students, obviously trying to make it through school. So about a third of SNAP households actually have someone working. They're just not earning enough to cover rent and groceries. And the benefit amount is not huge. The average person gets about $188 a month. That's roughly $6 a day for food. And for a lot of families, that's the difference between eating and not eating.
So those numbers are eye-opening. But, of course, congressional pay certainly hasn't stopped during the shutdown. So why does it mean people lose access to food? Isn't this an already approved budget item?
Yes, it is indeed, all right? But it's because Congress didn't pass a budget, and SNAP needs that money to keep running. And in the U.S., we tie politics to basic federal budget issues, unlike every other democracy in the world. The Agriculture Department, they say they're out of cash starting November 1st, meaning no food benefits for those 42 million people. Of course, the government could use emergency funds to cover it, but the Trump administration says they won't. So, unless Congress ends this shutdown, millions of families, including the million-plus veterans and nearly 5 million seniors, will lose this food lifeline.
Okay, so you're talking millions and millions of people. If this continues, how will people dependent on SNAP survive without it?
Right? Yeah, that's going to be difficult for many people. The food banks, which we've been reporting, are already stretched thin and can't handle an extra 42 million people looking for some extra food. Some need that food, right? Families are going to have to choose, do I pay the rent? Do I buy food? Do I get my prescription? All those questions. And for seniors, of course, on fixed incomes, getting $188 a month in SNAP, that will be a massive hole in their budget if it's not there. And here's the thing. This has never happened before. In every chapter of the program's history, it's existed continually, going all the way back to the Great Depression.
All right, Sue, thank you, our NBC 10 Boston explainer-in-chief.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Adam